After completing the 4-volume Masks of God series, mythologist Joseph Campbell, contemplating the inherent similarities of all cultures, confirmed his longtime belief of the unity of humankind. In his foreword, he reminisced over a long-time thought, that of the race of man, not only in its biology, but also in its spiritual history, which has everywhere unfolded in the manner of a single symphony, with its themes announced, developed, amplified and turned about, distorted, reasserted, and today, in a grand fortissimo of all sections sounding together, irresistibly advancing to some kind of mighty climax, out of which the next great movement will emerge. And I can see no reason why anyone would suppose that in the future the same motifs already heard would not be sounding still, in new relationships indeed, but ever the same motifs. The next great movement has emerged.
Very kind of powerful and mystical side to what we're all doing, everybody in their own studios all over the world, and it has to do with, I think, an evolution of humanity more so. I think it's humanity, you know, is evolving into what you would call a new dimension or a new state of consciousness. The people that are kind of quote-unquote more prepared, if you would, are going to latch themselves to certain cultural and artistic movements around the world, and this term, or global beat fusion, or what it's been called in many different ways, I think it's our kind of our calling card, our invitation to the club of where human consciousness is heading.
Global beat fusion is the natural extension of musical creativity in a world where borders dissolve by the clicks of rapid fingers and curious minds. All over the planet, musicians are taking their sonic histories and rewriting the score in new and inventive ways, borrowing ancient folk instruments and layering them into bass-heavy beats for all-night dance rituals. Only today's initiates don't dance around fires. Instead, they prance in dark clubs, bob along to iPod buds, and download the newest take on an old idea, creating music through all available means. This is the new global ritual.
We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now
you hear enough things and travel and hear things from different perspectives. It's not all just sort of categorized and formatted, but it actually exists as one bigger kind of picture. You have to look at it from farther back. And I think if you do that, it's all completely related. Sound might be different to someone who's only hearing 1 and 2, but if you hear 1 through 1,000, then you see the connection.
Projects like Laswell's Tabla Beat Science are redefining the folk traditions of world culture, merging classical musicians like tabla player Zakir Hussain and sarangi player Ustad Sultan Khan with futurist Kirsch Kale and the medieval pundits. This band is on the forefront of the world's next stage in modern music.
There's always a pulse, whether it's subtle or whether it's aggressive, or whether it could be outrageous, or it could be something you can hardly detect, but there's always a kind of pulse in music. And even if you completely stop the music, there's a pulse, because that's your bloodstream, that's your body system is pulse. Everything is a pulse. Even silence has a major pulse.
Sénégal, cinéma, le Paris, demain je serai parti.
What unites a world of musicians is a constant search for themselves, others, something greater. Now, with the computer being the first world folk instrument, the first vehicle for creating music used by everyone, globally, cultures no longer clash, they dance. By gazing into the past, artists are recognizing who they are today.
Ghazal, the song that I sing, is very much 13th century, and yet at the same time it's what I'm hearing or what I'm playing while I'm walking down 2nd Avenue in the middle of New York. To be able to hear poetry from the mystics and to be able to have it placed with drums and bass, it doesn't sound forced or fused or pushed. It just sounds very, very natural, like it already has existed.
What unites all these music forms is their players' connection to community, the desire to explore both inward and out. Music maintains an inexplicable hypnosis over us, the way a song hits us, somehow revealing deep secrets in ways we could not possibly express. This is the universality of sound, and with global beat fusion occurring daily, the realization that we're not as different as we seem may soon be understood.
Fusion implies the two things were separate that came together, whereas some music just exists in itself.
In its entirety, Global Beat Fusion the movie brings to life the characters, places, and sounds explored in the book. Personal, in-depth interviews and concerts with today's top international artists mesh with New York street life, as fans of the global music scene are treated to the people behind the songs. Featuring intimate, never-before-seen performances and a bird's-eye view of world cultures, Global Beat Fusion breaks boundaries by following one simple course of action: to talk to people about what they love most. And in a world of ever-building tension and confusion, it's really all about the music.
Everything cycles, to me it's not 4, it's 1. Everything cycles around. Ginger Baker said that. He said everything comes back to 1. If it's 6, 8, it's 1. If it's 4, 4, it's 1. 5 is 1. So it's always the 1 is what's important.